So CohhCarnage played PAX Day, and I figured I'd watch his video about it.
Go here with a very quick,
That's
brief,
a nice,
early alpha
nice
thoughts
jacket.
video on PAX Day. I've been getting this question a lot lately, and now that I've spent a couple hours with the game and also read a lot more information on it, I wanted to give you guys a little bit of an insight into what I'm thinking about this game.
Yeah.
So PAX Day is, in their own words, a social sandbox MMO with a focus on crafting and building things collectively.
Yeah.
It just recently had an alpha that's open.
That's
it's
nice.
actually still going on at the time of this video. And what the alpha is a look at some of the base mechanics surrounding the crafting and building systems.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what works. The game is beautiful. It runs pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
The crafting and building system looks relatively in depth. There's a lot.
I would agree with all of that. I hope that they add more things that you can make with crafting, but I think that's probably something that they'll just continue doing even after release. They'll add new flooring or they'll add a new door. Same as like Valheim did this, right?
To doing it. There's a full skill system as well. And there is clearly a lot of potential to make some very cool organic looking structures, not only as a solo player, but also with some cool mechanics tying into the larger scale clan stuff. You can join your claims together and make large village kind of structure things.
Right.
All of that looks good. All of that works. And frankly, it even in alpha, it is at an impressive level of quality for what it is.
I agree. I think that it looks great. Like I would like to see some degree of like maybe fine tuning on some of the textures here so they look a little bit better, but overall, yeah.
That being said, it is as of now a relatively generic crafting building game. Now it's in the alpha, so we don't really have that kind of flavor stuff yet, but as somebody who's been playing games for 10 years, I have seen a lot of games come along that have cool building systems. They're pretty, they run pretty well, and each of them have kind of the flavor that sets them apart. And in the alpha for PAX Day, we don't really see that yet. That being said, one of the things we spent at the last bit of our PAX Day stream doing is reading over what's coming and their plans for the game. And if they're able to implement everything they're wanting to do, like large-scale people.
I think also a big factor with this is the fact that the game is supposed to be relatively low fantasy. So we're probably not going to see mage portals and, like a Tesla coil that zaps people that come into your base and all kinds of crazy stuff. I don't think you're going to see massive, like, high fantasy systems like the Tower of Sauron, for example. Now, I don't think that sucks at all. I'm actually not against that. I think that actually having things that are low fantasy work in a completely different way. Like, I'll give you an example. I think Rust is extremely low fantasy, and it's one of the best games ever. It's so good. Now, obviously, this is a totally different game than Rust, but fundamentally, I don't think low fantasy is bad. The Witcher, sort of. Does gunplay? Yeah.
PvP, very cool extensive crafting stuff involving, raids and PvE stuff far off on the map in dangerous territories. They're having this whole kind of gear system that they're planning on putting different abilities on different pieces, and that kind of makes your class and a trinity system.
Yeah.
They have some really big plans for this game that are not in the alpha, so I was not able to check them. But if they actually get all that stuff in the game on top of this pretty damn decent crafting building system, this game could be very, very cool. Something that we could spend a lot of time in potentially as a community if all these things kind of come together in a way that works and works well. So
the concern that I have for this game is that how do you incentivize and get people to keep playing like 2 months into the game? Because everybody logs on day one, everybody builds their base. It's super fun for like 2 or 3 weeks. But like, what is the end game loop that keeps people playing and keeps them engaged with the game? And that's my main concern with PAX Day, is the long-term, the long-term health of the game. Because I don't think that you can have, I don't think PvP works that way. I don't, because if you have a tranquil PvE build game, which is what people like a lot of people are going to play it for that, you're not going to get a tranquil PvE builder to go do PvP. It just doesn't happen. Like, they don't want to play that kind of a game, and you shouldn't make them play that kind of a game. So server wipes like Rust, yeah, exactly. Disagree, look at Ark. Well, I don't know. I mean, how many people play Ark? It's a terrible game in like 50 different ways. I don't know why anybody plays that.
The TLDR, the PAX Day Alpha, is a solid glimpse at some of the foundational mechanics this game has to offer.
Yeah.
But it does not have the stuff that's going to potentially make this game be something really special when it's done.
Well, it doesn't have, right now, it has a great experience for people that are first going to start playing it. And, like, this is an alpha, so, like, it makes sense that they're not going to have, like, the entire end game loop fleshed out at this point. But I think that's really the problem. And I think that, like, I don't want to have PAX Day run into the same problem that New World did, that the very beginning of the game is great. Like, the best part of New World, in my opinion, is your first 20 to 30 levels. And even on release, it was like that. I think on release, it was more like that. The end game has improved since then. But, like, back then, dude, how many of you guys played New World, and on your first day, you were like, this is the best game ever. This is so fun. And you play that, and it was super fucking enjoyable. You love it. And then maybe a couple of days later, you're just doing the same stuff. You were hooked. Yeah, exactly, right? And then after like a few weeks, maybe you get to 60, you get to 47, and it's the same stuff over and over. And then it kind of loses its interest. Now, I will say a game that they should definitely look at how this game works on its end game and how it kind of grows and how it's good is Valheim. I think Valheim does progression incredibly well. And Valheim in general it's an incredible, amazing game. Like, I've played all the way through Valheim, like 2.5 times, basically. Allow for custom servers. I'm not really a fan of custom servers, personally.
So, am I optimistic about this product? Absolutely. I'm very optimistic.
Shame you didn't stream it. I
PAX
did.
Day. They've shown that they can build, some really cool parts of it, and that's great. Am I totally sure this game's going to be amazing? Not yet, because I have not yet seen all the stuff that I feel is really going to make this game find its voice.
Yeah.
And frankly, I do have to say, though, it does make me optimistic they will be able to do it. But yeah.
Everything about the game so far has made me optimistic. What the developers have said about the game has made me optimistic. The alpha has made me optimistic. Pretty much everything has made me happy about the game so far. So yeah, I don't have anything negative to say, but obviously, like, I'm saying that in the context of it being an alpha. I know that it is an alpha, so that's why I'm optimistic about it. Like, it's because I know that it will probably be better in time. Excuse me.
That's kind of where we are right now. So, PAX Day, coming along nicely. Alpha's very solid.
Yeah.
They have plans for the big stuff, but we're not quite there yet. I hope to be making another video like this in the future during their next big alpha or beta, talking about all the stuff that we just read about.
Like, a big concern that I have, I was actually talking to somebody about this, is that Unreal 5, I don't think does very good combat. I don't think it does. And a lot of the Unreal 5 games, I don't think they're really that good. It's clunky. That's not an engine thing. I don't know. I mean, isn't it weird, though, that, like, every Unreal 5 game or Unreal game, like, has this problem? And I think that the only one that's exception, yeah, somebody said it in chat, is Remnant. Liza P, I think Liza P is very good, but there's something about it, like, the combat doesn't feel as good as any of the Dark Souls games. Fortnite? I don't think Fortnite has, like, I'm talking about, like, melee combat. That's a dev problem? You guys think so? You guys think it's a dev problem and not to worry about Unreal? All right.
Game and being tested and being awesome. But until then,
I hope you're right.
We're gonna keep things contained and say that it's still cooking, but it smells pretty good.
There it is.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. That is what we think of PAX Day.
That's a really good way to say it.
Expect more as we follow this project into the future. Bye-bye.
Yeah. I totally agree. I agree with everything pretty much that he said. I think that it's very promising. Obviously, there's some concerns about endgame, but overall, yes, great. I'll read some of the comments here from people. Unreal is for a shooter first. Yeah, Remnant 2 is amazing. Armored Core 6 getting seamless co-op. Will you play it with someone else? Oh, maybe. Yeah, that could be fun. I didn't even know that. Because Unreal 5 is also new, people invest too much into the graphics. Oh, so you think that because people are using it as kind of a... Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Wasn't Terra made with Unreal? Yeah, but Terra was like 10 years old. I wouldn't really use the same framework for that. Unreal's extremely versatile. All right. Well, let's hope that I'm wrong. And it's just like, you know, some vibe check that I have that's a little bit off. We'll see what happens, but yeah.